Hello, it's Jesse here. We're getting ready to start the next segment on this motor rebuild for this 74 Norton I got. And anyway, we're just got done in the last video putting this all together. So now we're getting ready to put in the frame. So what we got here is we got the front motor mount installed. It's still loose yet, so we can flex it and move it around if we have to. So the next few steps, I'm gonna grab this motor, bottom end here, and we're gonna set it in the frame. And then we're gonna guide it into the mounting position. Alright, so I just got done setting this down in here. First thing we did was we cradled it into the front motor mount guides, the little parts that are on the frame right there. And then the front saddled the front. And then what we did was we installed this first bolt here into the top of the cradle, into the top of the rear motor mount part. So then the next step, which we're at right now, is we're putting the bottom bolt in here. And to do so, we have it on the center stand, and we're using this little lift vise thing here, and we raised up the motor so it clears the frame here. Otherwise, the head won't clear it. And so you have to get it up at least the width of that head right there, and then you can paint it.
Basically, we had to raise it an inch.
So that's about where we're at. So now, after we get that all the way in, which we're doing right now,
then we'll drop it.
We'll drop it, like you said, and then we'll line this one up and put the front one in. Starting to lower this lift here.
Wait a minute, I gotta take the center stand off.
Yeah.
Because
otherwise it won't do nothing. Yeah, otherwise it won't do nothing. There you go. You get the alignment pin in there, then I'll be ready to put the bolt in. The bolt comes in from this side.
Yep, go ahead.
Okay. Alright, so I mentioned before in part one when we were taking it out, this engine out, we talked about the adjustable front motor mount. Unlike the original one, which used shims to get the right clearance, this actually has an adjuster here at the end.
And
so
use this bar,
a special tool here.
Yeah.
And we want to get in one of them holes there.
I can see. Okay.
Now to adjust it,
I gotta see. I can't use your camera. We gotta go 1.5 holes. And then all we do is
1.5 holes from the top.
from tight.
From tight. Okay.
Okay, I'll do it again. Okay. Okay. See where the hole is?
Yep.
Now I'm going to run this hole. Oops. I'm going to run this hole up there. Wow, dang it. Where it was. There's one. Now half a hole is in between here, so I'm going to bring it up to about here. If I could just, the frame gets in the way. There. That's about 1.5 right there.
Yep. Right. From tight. Okay.
Then we torque it down to 30 foot-pounds.
On the bolt. We do the adjustment first, then we torque it.
Yep. Okay, you ready?
Yeah, so with that being tightened, a hole and a half from tight, and then when we torque this down, it should give us our 6 to 10 thousandths in clearance. Or free play, right?
Yep.
Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and torque it down now.
The nut was just started, so it'll be a while.
Really? Alright, well, we're almost there now, but
It was a self-locking nut, so it's Otherwise I would have run it in. Okay, we're getting close. Here we go. Are you ready?
Here we are. Here we are. We're torquing the top rear motor mount. This one was 25 foot-pounds.
We should get there someday.
Yeah, and we got to torque the head of the bolt because we can't get to that. We can't get access to the nut from this side. So here we go. Next one's a different wrench. So
can you get to the other one? I can give you a
yeah,
long
I can
extension.
get to the nut on this one, right through there. All right, so we got to torque the front motor mount here to the motor. And then we just got done doing the back one. There we are. Oops, let me get back on it. You want to check it. Okay. And then the bottom one.
Got it?
Yep.
You can't get on it with the box in it.
Oh yeah, maybe this one I can.
Box in.
Surely not the top one. There we go. Yeah, I'm on the bottom with the box then. You want to check that one or?
I can.
Yeah, you check the other one. So there we go. Yeah, so the other two we tightened up was this one through here. I ran it through with this side and tightened it down, 25 foot-pounds, and then the bottom one down here. Same thing. There we go. We're ready for the next couple steps here. Alright, so for the next step, we're going to install the primary side so we can lock the engine when we go to put the top end all on. Then we're going to run the oil lines and stuff, and then pretty much almost done. I mean, it's going to go kind of together quick, hopefully, here. Alright, so we got the oil lines hooked up here just now, and then we also put a little banjo on here on the oil feed. We're going to work on priming the crank assembly. We don't want that thing to be empty.
Okay, so you turn your crank to where the cheeks are, like there's a spot here, but that's what I go by. It's at 90 degrees because the holes that are drilled through there for oiling are at, when the crank's at 90 degrees, the journals are at 90 degrees, and these are at 90 degrees to that, so straight up. If, in theory, right now, through that little hole, I could probably slide a small wire right into the crank on each one. So what'll happen then is I'll take this oil bottle here, which I got oil in, clean oil. I'll put this in here, and now I will start to squeeze oil and down through them. Eventually what we're going to see is it'll start to bubble and oil will start coming out. Now we put oil in it already before we put the timing cover on it. There, did you see a bubble? It's pushing air out right now. And I'll keep doing this until oil just actually runs out of both sides. All I'm doing is putting pressure on the oil bottle right now, and it's slowly expelling the air. It's got a long travel it's got to take from where I'm at to here. But eventually it's going to get full. To fill it, it holds somewhere around 4 ounces of oil. The crank does. So you want it full, or thereabouts. Or at least I want to start with it full.
Yeah, we don't want it dry.
It might drain out if we turn the crank to the bottom or something like that later. But
Yeah, so we'll finish this up right here until it starts pouring out. It's pretty
There's
much
some more bubbles.
It's pretty much almost there, but
See the bubbles? Can you see them?
yeah, I can see them on the screen here. Yeah, anyway, that's the whole purpose of what we're doing right now. Just priming it so it's not a dry start.
Yep.
I'm on the left side of the bike now. I'm going to check to see if this is any coming out. You go ahead and... Yeah,
I am squeezing.
Yeah, you are.
I can only squeeze so much at a time. I can't pump it in.
Right. Alright, well, we keep pumping oil in this and then we'll come back and show what it looks like when it's pouring out.
Down in there. There it goes.
Alright, there it is. It's pouring out the side. So that's a successful prime on that crank.
Yep. See on the other side now.
Alright, we can see it pouring out this side too.
Okay, so we're done.
So yeah, it looks good. Alright, now we took off our feed, our little improvised feed tube thing. And then we're putting on the actual line and pressure switch and stuff there.
Yeah, we run an oil pressure gauge. Come on now. There it goes. With a sender unit. Well, I guess that's not going to cooperate that much with me. I'll just turn it in a little bit more.
Yeah, then we'll tighten up when we're ready.
Yeah. Okay. It's going to get pretty boring.
Alright, so we're getting ready to put the primary together, but we're going to revisit the front motor mount. This is actually an adjustable front motor mount like we said before, but this is actually a Mark III item, and we just put on this Mark II. It's a better setup than the standard shims and all that stuff, like the Mark II would have had originally, but so that's why we went with the Mark III style front motor mount. So this is what one looks like. Things how it's buried there and you can't see it very well, but here's what the adjusters look like on the side, and so on. So anyway, why I'm talking about this is we need to go in there and actually use a feeler gauge and actually check it just to make sure that it's got the right clearance. So we're going to do that real quick here, and then we'll move on to doing the primary. Alright, so right now I'm kind of like prying on the motor away from the frame here with this rubber hammer here, and that's going to relieve any sort of pressure on there.
And I can't get a 6 in there. So we're going to have to move this. We're going to have to loosen it a little bit.
Okay.
So the 1.5 holes that they recommend is not quite what we need. So we're going to try another half a hole because we need to have between 6 and 10.
6 and 10 of the feeler gauge, and that between
10 thousandths free play is the optimum.
right in through there.
And you can run it down to 6 and you'll get, if you get it too loose, the bike will feel like it's wobbly, like it's, because the rear wheel and the motor moves and it'll feel like it's loose or something. It's a strange feeling.
Okay.
Let's see where I'm at here. There it is. Okay.
Alright, you got moved a little bit?
Yeah, now we're going to have to snug it up.
Okay.
Because you got to test it after it's tight.
Okay. Hold on. Yeah, there we go. Okay.
Okay. Now we're going to,
Test it again.
yeah, now we're going to test it again. I can could barely get a 6 to start. We got to go more. Okay.
All right, so we got it to where an 8 fits in between those two pieces right there. See that? So that's where we want it to be. Now we're ready to torque this back down. It should be good. There we go. We got it torqued, and now we're just going to double check it real quick.
Yeah, 8 fits.
All right.
One washer.
All right. So while working on this primer here, you want to make sure that you have it aligned properly. It needs to be flush with the motor. When the motor is all tight and in the frame and on the cradle, the transmission is tight on the cradle. We make sure
This is solid, tight.
we want this solid tight.
And these washers back here should not move.
There's a set of washers right down there. Okay, let me see that.
Yeah.
So that's what gives you your position on it. Helps you achieve this being flat with the motor. Because you don't want this primary cover to be cockeyed or loose or something. Because this whole unit, the motor, transmission, rear wheel, it's all one unit, and it's isolastics, and it moves around. And the other important thing is to make sure you have a gap here, going all the way around here, because it wiggles, and you don't want this rubbing on anything.
They're hitting.
So we're good. It's pretty much just the way it was when we took it apart. We did add a washer though down in there just to.
Yeah, we added one washer about this thick.
Just because. I mean, because the other thing is there's the swing arm. You can hit the primary back there. You can't see it from here. I don't think so anyway.
Also shows it was.
All right, so here's the swing arm, and this is the part that can rub on the inside of the primary. And it maybe at one time this actually was, because there's kind of like a wear spot here.
And here.
Oh yeah, and the primary too. Right there.
There.
So I don't think that's where we got our noise from, but anyway.
That's also why we added a washer here. One little thin washer there can make a big difference if it's not lined up right.
Yeah, so this is yep, that's it right there. Extra washer. Now we're just going to put some sealant on this just to help seal it, I guess. So anyway. Alright, so we replaced the gasket just for good measure, and we used 5/18 to adhere it to the primer right now. I'm going to just pop it on there.
There it goes.
Alright, cool. Then we're going to put the special bolts and lock tab pieces in there.
Okay, there's two little bumps here. Okay, see that one?
Yep.
And this one, and then there's the hole. Them two little bumps got to be on this. Then you bend that over the head. So I gotta put this down in here. Start the bolt. Not worried about it yet.
It's kind of falling in place anyway.
Yeah, it kind of does. But it could be 180 off if you're not careful.
Yeah, we did use a little bit of a sealant on there because those holes are through to the motor.
You can see it's in there.
Yeah. There we go. We'll put the rest of them in. There's two other ones right there, and at the top, of course. And we'll tighten them down to 100 inch-pounds. See that in a minute here.
Okay. Okay. work my way around.
That way it goes on evenly.
Yeah.
For any weird reason it wouldn't. And then, yeah, making sure that
I can just barely turn that washer, so we're just looking perfect.
Cool.
That means when you tighten this up, it ain't gonna push that way in.
Yeah, then cause a weird non-straightness, and then eventually break or crack down the road because of the stress that's on something, right?
Yep.
Here we go.
Now we're going to bend over the tabs. You ready?
Yeah, we're working on folding them over a little bit.
And you can get in here with pliers and bend them right up nice.
And it locks it.
Just got to get behind it and start it to bow out.
There we go.
They're on.
All right, we're getting ready to put the components back together in this primary. So,
okay, there's a thick washer with a groove, and the groove is to make sure that this little snap ring that's on there doesn't pop off. So that's got to go over top of it like that. Now there's also some shims that go with that. So this one must have had 3 shims. Or 1 shim. I don't think this one goes to that. No, this goes up here.
all right.
That's the lock washer. It goes to there.
The big key goes on in the back part, of course, only when it fits in. That holds the front sprocket on,
Yeah.
or engages the front sprocket.
Okay, so got to put this on as a set. A lot lighter without it. Okay, you're gonna have to pull the alternator out of there. It's
Right,
gotta go
just
through
like
there.
we did last time.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Now, where's the key? The key's over there. Oh, wait a minute. It's not even on it.
Yeah, that'll help.
No.
That'll help a little bit.
Yeah, that should help a lot. I thought it felt kind of. There it is.
Okay. Oh, there we go.
Put the damn thing in gear, huh? I didn't think that transmission was that tight.
You gotta go forward more, no?
Yeah, well, for some reason, it feels like it's tight.
We got it pushed on there. Again, it's a little bit tight here. We're gonna have to adjust the transmission a little bit. We're supposed to have 3/8 of free play. It's not that, obviously, right now. So
3/8 to half inch, something like that. Yeah.
So we'll work on going the rest of the way here, and then we'll work on adjusting the transmission.
That's cupped so that because of how the magnet goes in there.
Oh. So you're saying cupped? Oh yeah, it's counterboard or whatever.
Yeah.
The spacer, okay.
Shims go to the rear. Like that. That's so that you can put this in here like this. If it was flat, it wouldn't go in all the way. Like that. And we have
All right, yeah, we got another shim or washer, and then the bolt that goes on that holds it all together.
Yep.
Oh yeah, lock washer too.
I use a bevel washer. It's not a stock part. It's something that you add to it to help hold these so that they don't vibrate. They don't explode and get loose. It's
There we go.
it's not tight.
Not tight yet. No, we're gonna probably torque it down.
You gotta torque it 80.
All right, so the book said this was 80 foot-pounds of torque to torque this bolt or nut down to the sprocket here and the shaft, and then these bolts back here that we already did with those didn't really say anything in the book, so we ended up going to like 100 inch-pounds, and then we bumped it up to 120. And then we, of course, you saw us bend it over, but anyways, it didn't say. It just said secure them tightly, or or fasten them securely.
Tighten them fully.
Or tighten them fully. Yeah, I come across that a lot in the books. It's kind of too bad because, I mean, because when they built this bike, of course we had torque wrenches, you know, decent ones. They could at least gave us a spec, you know. But anyway, we use our best judgment on some of this stuff because it's aluminum, you know. There we go. There we are. We're installing the stator part of the charging system. yeah, there's a spacer that goes behind here. Make sure that's in the back. And then a washer and a nut to secure it down in 3 places. Does this have a torque spec too?
Yeah.
Or is it just securely?
It does.
Yeah. I'll go look it up in the book.
I think it's 35, but I'll look.
So this is 15 foot-pounds. So we're gonna probably use the inch-pound torque wrench. It wasn't 30, so like we thought offhand, but yeah, there's a 1/4 inch bolt, I guess, or stud. So
5/16.
Oh, is it 5/16?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it's a small diameter, so you can get a socket in there.
Okay. So
Special
we're gonna do some inch-pounds on this one. Before torquing it down, we gotta check for clearance between the stator and the rotor. And we gotta have, what was it?
8 to 10.
8 to 10 thousandths of free play between the two gap.
Yeah.
There we go. I got it converted over to inch-pounds, so we're going 15 times 12, so that's at 180 inch-pounds.
Just a minute.
Yeah, just
I gotta
check it when you tighten it up a little bit.
I gotta set the play.
Yeah.
And I might have to tap it because it's loose over here, and I think it's gonna be tight over here. Yeah.
Kind of tricky to do this because the dang feeler gauge sticks on all the magnets when you go around it.
I need a little bit more. Okay.
There we go.
Pushed it in, geez.
Yeah. Better check it again.
Well, after I tighten, yeah.
Yeah, it might move, you know.
Yeah, it might. It's that.
Magnet?
Yeah. Or something. It goes. It's clear. It's clear.
Alright, so next we're going to be putting the clutch group together. So we got a big nut right here. So the book talks about this nut to torque it down to 70 foot-pounds.
But that's wrong.
That's wrong.
Yes, it's wrong. If you do that, you break that clip in the back.
Well, that's right. Remember, you saying that in the first video.
It's been superseded to 40 to 45.
So later they decided to do that. So they changed it.
Yeah, they changed it. But most of your manuals, like Chilton's and Haynes, they all say 70 foot-pounds. Well, I'm gonna break it.
So 45 on there. Alright, so we cleaned it up with blue Loctite, and then we cleaned it up with brake clean first, and then we applied some blue Loctite to it. There we go. Now we're ready to torque it down to 45 foot-pounds. To hold the rear wheel or put it in gear. There we go.
We're gonna lock it with the brake.
Oh, easy enough. It's on this side, of course, because it's later. So, like when we tried doing the Tiger, it was on the other side and it was kind of a pain in the butt.
All you gotta do is just stand on it right here.
Yep, I got it.
As hard as you can.
There we are.
Now we're gonna put a little bit more Loctite on it. Just a little. And what we have here.
Oh yes, we talked about this in the first video, but we'll talk about it again. This is a special nut here that actually has a seal in it.
It has an O-ring in it. And that keeps the transmission fluid from migrating into your clutch discs.
Yeah, where did you say you can get one of them at?
Dyno Dave is the one who made these. And you know, several of your better Norton parts suppliers will have those.
Okay. There we go. Well, I'll move on to putting the clutch discs and stuff in once he gets this torque down here.
That's a special size. It's a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
Here's this one. Oh, good.
What torque spec you do that at?
Just slammed good. It's only holding on by 2 threads. So
Oh.
You just don't want it to fall off. And your Loctite is going to stop any fluid. So no, we're not going to go 45. Push hard.
Yep. I like to get a lot of our British stuff, parts, a lot of stuff. Kind of, we got a local, not really local, kind of a ways away, but dealership that sells vintage parts and stuff around here in Iowa. Down at Baxter Cycle and Marne. But otherwise, you could look around on the internet and whatever, but you should be able to find that special seal somewhere.
Don't you think?
Alright, so next up we'll be adjusting the chain tension here. We're going to loosen up the transmission and get that to where it needs to be at. Then we'll put the clutch discs and assembly all together. So we're looking up in the book right now for double checking the chain tension here for the primary. When we've come to the conclusion on something. So when we put the motor in here, it was these bolts went in very nice and tight. There's no adjustment here, no slop, to where you can move the motor around and have it all line up differently. Same with the front motor mount. So this is when we put the motor back in. It went back to the spec from before we did the lower end bearings. So what we've come up with is the reason why this chain's tight is because those bearings that we replaced were actually kind of going out. We could finally kind of feel some free play in the bearings when we were checking it with the races and stuff. So now this is tight, going back together the same way. So, and our rear chain, we believe, has the right slack or slap or free play, whatever you want to call it. But anyways, so that just means that the bearings are tighter in the front here, and we lost the slack here. So to get this back, we talked about we're gonna adjust the transmission. So first of all, we gotta find this spec here, and then we'll go into adjusting where the transmission sits. Alright, so we started off by backing off the adjuster 4 flats of the bolt here, and then which gives us free play for the chain, which will bring everything able to come forward. So then next we're going to start off by loosening the transmission so we can move it. So then we can start with this chain. So we tighten this chain, get it set, and then we get the transmission set where we want it, and then we do the final drivetrain after that. So I'm going to go there side there, and we're going to start working on adjusting the transmission here. Alright, so this is the top adjuster for the transmission on the top of the transmission here. There's a little bit of play in this, so what we got to do is we have to loosen this up a little bit, and then what will happen is we'll leave this open back here, and then what we'll do is we'll start pushing on this one to push the transmission forward just a little bit, so we have the free play we're looking for in the primary.
And then tighten it all up.
Then tighten it back up.
And this should be really tight.
Yeah, it looks like it is. There we go.
Oops. It's really hard to get into that adjuster. Well, sometimes you have to loosen this one first. So you can loosen this one. It's hard to get back in there because there's a spring on this so that the line don't collapse. There it goes. I'm helping along there. I don't know how much we're going to have to move it. Probably not much.
Yeah, we just want. I mean, it didn't look like we needed a whole lot. But we don't know how to judge that yet.
Yeah,
Start there.
We can always bring it forward. Okay, now I loosened this. Remember?
Yep.
I think we're right where we used to be.
All right. All right, you moved a little bit. Let's go check the. Are you able to feel it over there?
Yeah, it's not enough yet.
All right, so he's turning it over there, and we got some. Looks like some free play now a little bit. Remember, we're looking for 3/8, so we double checked it, and it's 3/8 free play.
Slack. Not just I can move it 3/8.
Okay. All right, that's a good way to say it. So, slack.
It's got to droop and then you'll lift it 3/8.
All right, we'll get a ruler here. I'll get a ruler real quick. All right, so I got the ruler laying there. We're measuring off the two. Let's see if I can get it lined up again.
You can set it inside of here.
All right, there we go.
Set it inside of there to where you see it better.
It's pretty close.
Yeah, I think it is.
All right, I think we're going to be
Plus
good
the
there.
other thing, this before I couldn't turn this freely, so what it was doing, what happens is if you get the chain is too tight, it won't shift gears and you won't be able to find neutral real easy.
Yeah, and you put bind on that.
Because it puts bind on the transmission shaft, because this is pulling so hard, it pushes on the bearing that's hooked to this main. See, this is hooked to the main shaft, and there's a bearing in there.
And the problem
So
with that
right
is
now it's free, see?
it caused the bearing to go bad prematurely.
Yes, and the bushing's in fourth gear. So you got to have this play in here. And it doesn't hit anything. I can't force it to hit. See up there.
Oh, yeah.
We're a long ways away. It's got to be free slack. 3/8 free slack. A lot of people think it's like well, push down as hard as you can, pull up as hard as you can, and make it 3/8. Well, then we were already there, and it was too tight.
Yeah.
It's got to be. It's got to be slack. You know.
Yeah.
Slack is important. So I think this is right where we want it to be.
All right, cool. So now we're gonna go tighten up the.
If anything, our chain is just about.
Oh, the final drive chain.
Yeah, we'll probably have to loosen it just a little bit more.
All right, but yeah, we're gonna go there and tighten up the top transmission mount.
And make sure it didn't move on us. Tighten this up.
Yeah, you're gonna lock it with that one now. That way, when we go to tighten up the big bolt there,
it don't
move. Yeah, exactly.
Because this is already tight because we pulled it up.
Yeah, it's got tension on it. Yeah.
Right.
For movement.
Okay, get on there, jeez. There it goes. It's hard to get in your clutch cable and everything's in the way. And then the battery box. Everything. Yeah, it's tight. Okay.
Yeah. So
now we're going to get on it and we're going to tighten the top transmission bolt and then we're going to check the bottom transmission bolt. Tighten it too. And there's a torque spec on this, so we will torque it.
we got it pretty close right now, so
It ain't going to move. So now we're going to go back and check it.
now double checking it here.
I put it right next to a pin, if we can.
Okay, there's another way of doing it. Yeah. Maybe you can
want
see
to
it
be
better
right
this
in the
way.
middle,
Yeah.
if we can. We want to be between these two as much as possible. Okay, look at there. It's right on the. Well, it can be right there. Okay, right there.
All right.
And that's the slack, 3/8. There. I mean, I could force it to go higher.
Yeah, each one of them bigger marks on the right, the right side here is a 1/8. So yeah.
Yep, perfect.
All right, cool. We went back to the manual here just to reference the primary chain adjustment section here, and it talks about how we need to have the tightest position. The movement should be 3/8 inch total movement of the chain. So we've rotated a little bit, and we found the tightest spot, and we got it set for 3/8 inch total movement. Anyways, it goes on to talk about what we were trying to say in the beginning. There was loosening this stuff here. So it talks about loosening the top bolt, and then that little jam nut back there we talked about. It also goes on to say not to touch the bottom one, and then not touch the like right here. Do not turn the captive nut on the left side. It's actually got like a notch into it, and it actually sits into the cradle the transmission sits in. So if you move the left one, you'd end up damaging something. So key point: do not turn that nut on the left side. So then we go on to talks about loosening an adjuster nut, which we've seen already. But anyways, I really can't find the torque spec for that nut. So I think we're going to probably set it for like 50 foot-pounds or something. Is that what we decided? 60. 60? That sounds about good. It's a big nut anyway, or a bolt. So section thing. So yeah, so we'll end up doing 60 foot-pounds. So we're about to do our test here. We found the tightest part of the chain, and we started doing our adjustment on it like we were just saying. And then now we're at our starting spot here. We're gonna remove the slack, or we want to see what kind of slack we have, and we need to have 3/8 slack. So go ahead. So that's 1, 2. Looks like 3/8. Yeah, from there to there, 3/8. 1, 2, 3. Yep. So there we go. All right, so we're at the bottom of the primary cover now, and then we're gonna go from here as a starting point. And then remove the slack. Looks like 1, 2, 3/8 it moved. So I think we're good here. And like we said before, We want this to be loose.
It's free now.
It's free.
It's real free.
All right.
See there? Real free. So it'd be easy to find neutral and put it in low gear
No clunking and stuff.
without clang and bang. And
Yeah.
so
All
if
right.
I push in, I can hit the case, but that ain't gonna be happening.
Okay. Here we are. We're going to torque this down. If we're not comfortable with 60, we might go a little bit higher, but we'll see what this feels like. You think you're okay with that?
Felt pretty easy.
65, 70 then?
It's a big bolt.
Like 3/4? 5/8, 3/4?
I mean, you tighten the front nut over there 70 foot-pounds. So, and we don't want this to move.
Right.
Yeah, 70 ain't much different. So, in fact, that front bolt, if I remember right, was 80 foot-pounds. So,
All right.
but I think 70 is fine.
Okay. We were just double checking this lower transmission mounting bolt here, and it's tight, so we're good yet. Like the book says, leave that one alone. While we're messing around with chains, we're going to work on this rear chain here. This is an X-ring chain, so, and we have to set our tension on this one too. So we're going to work on adjusting this right now.
Move it up. Pull it up. Let it go. Push down a little. Okay. Hold it. Put it down. Okay, there's a quarter. Now go up. There. That's about 1 inch.
Okay.
So, I think we're fine.
All right, we'll just tighten up the adjusters then.
We can, no, we did tighten them.
Oh, you did
We
tighten
can tighten them. We can always tighten the chain 1/4 of an inch sometime down the road if we hear chain guard clanging. When you
Okay.
ship.
Yep. All right. So we just got done tightening our axle nut here. When you do that, make sure you apply brake pressure on there so it centers the brake shoes into the center of the drum just by pressing on the brake while you go to tighten those axle nuts down. So, not much to that. So after the rear brake and rear chain tightening and stuff, we're ready to go ahead and assemble the rest of the primary here and put the primary cover on, and then we'll move on to the top end here, the motor. So we just started putting the plates in.
I want to wipe them each one down with some brake clean.
That way they're nice and clean when they go in.
Yep, dry. It's a brass clutch. Oil will get in there later. Get rid of any sticky, gummy, dried up oil. By the time you get to the middle, they're pretty clean.
Yeah, that one is a lot cleaner than the first one. You see the difference anyway.
Yeah. by the time you start getting to the outer side, it seems like both ends get gummy.
Yeah, dirty again.
Yeah, where the oils are, I guess, inside and outside.
Alright, now put on the
Pressure plate.
pressure plate ring.
Pressure plate's different.
Oh yeah, it's shaped different than the one. It has like a conical piece on the end of it.
Yeah, because it pushes on the
Diaphragm?
on the diaphragm. Yep. It goes in there. Should anyway. Yep, there it is. Let me put this baby in there.
Yeah, the diaphragm and the retaining ring for it.
Yep. Okay. It's like a giant clip. Put that in there and you gently, don't spring it too far. I like to get a screwdriver and work and make sure I'm in
the notch all the way around on the hub, on the basket.
around, because otherwise you don't never want it to pop out.
So it has like a groove it locks into on the,
Right.
the basket.
So I know I'm locked. So now I gotta get a wrench and take that off. Where'd you put that 3/4 inch wrench?
Right there?
There it is.
Over there.
Yeah, it's right here. Then we back this off. Take the tool out. Now we got this. The push rod was in it.
Yeah.
So now what we do, we gotta turn this in. Back off this.
Oh, you backed off the clutch.
Yeah, it was probably set okay, but I always, you know, that's just the way
Starting
you-
over.
Yep, start over.
Run it until it touches, and then
Yeah, just get a slight what I call slight snug, or you know you're solid against the push rod and the adjuster on the other side, and we know it works.
yep.
It should be as slack as I'm as slack as I can get. So yep. So now we're going to back it off 1/2 turn, and we're going to tighten her up. That's all there's to that. Now we should have some play in there. Now we had it in gear, so go ahead and turn the rear wheel. We should be able to. I had it in gear. See, so see.
Oh yeah.
I have the clutch out and it stops. So, yep.
All right.
We got it. Now we're going to clean this up and put it back together.
All right. All right. Here we go. We got the outer primary cover all cleaned up. And then now we're getting ready to put it on. It's held on with one center bolt nut there and on that stud there. So anyway.
There's 2 pins there.
Yeah, there was 2 alignment pins. They have to line up, of course.
Get all that oil out of there. I can clean that part, I guess. There's only one bolt to tighten.
Here we go.
Okay, we should have play back there now.
Oh, yeah, we wanted to look at that. See if I can get in there and see that.
We shouldn't be touching that swing arm, right?
See if I can see it or not here.
I'll get a flashlight.
I can't really see it, I guess. Maybe I'm in a bad spot.
Well, if you can see it.
Let's see if we can come onto the top here. Oh, great. Oh yeah, way down there. Let's see if I can point it out for people who don't know what they're looking at here.
It's right at the end of the swing arm. A bump there. We can take this cover off here. Let's do.
All right, there I zoomed in a little bit. Right there where the screwdriver's
Right back
at.
there. It's right back there.
We want a gap between the primary, which is that part on the outside there. Can you point
Used
at
to
that?
rub there, and now it isn't.
And then that black spot. So there's the silver spot over here is the primary, and then the black spot, that is the swing arm.
That's the swing arm.
And we want a gap between there. See how you can see the ground between there? Yeah. So we should be good. All right, so now we're putting the brake pedal and footrest on now finally now. We had it on and off to do some brake stuff and locking the rear wheel, but now we're finally able to put it on and leave it on.
I gotta put this down in the bottom one. Hold on there. This gotta go up here like that. Wait a minute.
Our brake switch.
Yeah, it's this thing. The washer goes on the back side. Found that out years ago.
Or it's the wire harness thing for the brake switch, right?
Yeah, it holds the brake light wire from getting caught or dragged or burned on the, or over here. See, it goes up like this. Tucks it in nice right in here.
Yeah.
And it keeps it off of the swing arm and stuff, and the saddle, or and the chain guard, or the
Primary?
chain case, primary case, whatever. See, I do it too.
What the worst? Yeah. Well, a lot of people use slang words, so it's like, well, whatever. I mean, we can use proper terms all the time. So, anyway, on to tightening this down, I guess. All right.
Now you got to be careful here because sometimes you can tighten this up and it'll go like this, and the corner of this thing will start digging into these primaries. So you don't want it up that high.
Yeah,
you want it is about there.
So you hold that there while you tighten that one down.
You want it up out of the way, but that's all you want.
Go. And the last one. Then we just hook up the wires.
It don't matter which one goes where, but they kind of point to where they want to be, so that's where I put them.
Oh, so they kind of fall in the right spot?
Well, if they're old and used, if it's a new wiring harness, you gotta create the spot. See, it'll lay like this, so this is how I'll put it. See, there's a blade on each side of this. Each side of this switch. And there's one right there. There it is.
There we go. Yep. And then I guess this kind of buttons up this part of it. And then I guess the next segment or whatever we get to, we'll be putting the top end on this bike. Yep. Getting ready for a test run probably, hopefully. We'll see how that all goes together. So thanks for watching and everything. I think we'll just end this segment here because I kind of like a whole new section of stuff.
The only thing we have left to do is put oil in it.
Yeah. But yeah, we got to remember to put oil on this. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed all this, and we'll see you again soon.